A heavy stone door grinds open after centuries of silence. This is the moment of discovery, the pinnacle of an archaeologist's dream, but for some, that dream twisted into a nightmare. We are diving into the chilling world of archaeologists who seem to be struck by a mysterious and deadly curse after opening ancient tombs. By the end of this journey, you will know the full, strange stories behind history's most infamous archaeological curses and the scientific explanations that challenge them. We will explore the world-famous tragedy of King Tutankhamun's tomb and a lesser-known Polish expedition that ended in bizarre accidents. Is it supernatural vengeance or just terrible luck? Do you believe a place can hold a memory or a grudge? The golden funerary mask of Tutankhamun remains one of the most breathtaking artifacts ever unearthed. It was discovered in November 1922 by British archaeologist Howard Carter, funded by the wealthy aristocrat Lord Carnarvon. After years of fruitless searching in Egypt's Valley of the Kings, they broke into a tomb that was nearly untouched by looters. The world was captivated by the treasures within, a glimpse into the opulence of a young pharaoh's afterlife, but the excitement soon turned to whispers of dread. Just a few months after entering the burial chamber, Lord Carnarvon was dead. The official cause was pneumonia and blood poisoning, stemming from a seemingly minor infected mosquito bite. His death in Cairo was strange enough, but then the stories began to multiply. It was said that at the exact moment he died, all the lights in the city mysteriously flickered out, and back in England, his favorite dog howled and dropped dead. The curse narrative grew with each new tragedy. American financier George J. Goode, who had visited the tomb, died of a fever shortly after. Carnarvon's own brother, Aubrey Herbert, who had also been present at the opening, died from a septic infection following a routine dental procedure. Newspapers eagerly reported on an inscription supposedly found at the tomb's entrance, a warning that death would come on swift wings to those who disturbed the pharaoh's rest. Yet it is crucial to note that Howard Carter, the man who actually breached the inner sanctum, lived for another 17 years, dying of natural causes at an advanced age. So what explains the other deaths? Science offers compelling alternatives. A sealed tomb for over 3,000 years could have harbored ancient bacteria or molds. Potent pathogens, perhaps anthrax or other toxins, might have been sealed inside, lying in wait to be inhaled by the first people to breathe that stale air in millennia. Alternatively, the entire curse could be a tragic series of coincidences, amplified by a sensationalist press and our own deep-seated fear of disturbing the dead. This is the core of the Great Curse debate, a conflict between eerie superstition and rational explanation that began with a pharaoh's gold. Lord Carnarvon was not a young man when he entered Tutankhamun's tomb. He had suffered from poor health for years following a serious car accident in Germany, leaving him with chronic respiratory issues. This pre-existing condition made him far more vulnerable than his robust partner, Howard Carter. When he nicked that mosquito bite while shaving, a simple act of daily routine, his body simply could not fight off the infection that followed. The pneumonia and blood poisoning that claimed his life in a Cairo hotel room were a tragic, but medically understandable, end for a man whose constitution was already weakened. Yet it was the strange stories that bloomed from this death that gave it a supernatural sheen. Rumors spread that at the precise moment of his passing, the lights across Cairo suddenly and inexplicably dimmed. An even more poignant tale emerged from his English estate, where his loyal terrier was said to have let out a single mournful howl and then collapsed dead. These anecdotes, while emotionally powerful, are nearly impossible to verify. What is undeniable is how eagerly the world's press seized upon them. Newspapers in the 1920s were a competitive business, and the discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb was the story of the decade. A wealthy aristocrat dying mysteriously after opening an ancient burial chamber was a narrative gift. Reporters embellished facts and sometimes invented them outright, most famously the chilling inscription warning of death on swift wings, which was never actually found in the tomb. They created a compelling, marketable myth of a pharaoh's vengeance. This media frenzy did more than just sell papers. It permanently wired the idea of a mummy's curse into the global psyche. It established a formula so potent that it would be automatically applied to any future archaeological misfortune. From that point on, any accident, any illness, any stroke of bad luck near an old grave would be viewed through the lens of Carnarvon's tragic end. The press had forged a chain linking tombs and tragedy that would last for a century. Nearly a century after the frenzy surrounding King Tut, a similar story of discovery and doom unfolded, but this one involved a team from Poland. In 2014, archaeologists from the University of Warsaw made an incredible find in Egypt. They uncovered the burial site of a previously unknown pharaoh, a ruler named Senebkay. His tomb was modest and had been looted in antiquity, but the discovery itself was monumental, rewriting a small piece of Egyptian history. The excitement of the find, however, was soon shadowed by a string of strange and tragic events that would revive talk of an ancient curse. The team's leader, the respected Dr. Zbigniew Szafranski, met a bizarre and untimely end. Reports emerged that he was killed in a freak accident while working in a museum, struck by a falling object in a cruel twist of fate. The misfortune seemed to spread. Other members of the expedition were said to have faced severe health crises, from sudden, debilitating illnesses to serious accidents of their own. Whispers began circulating among locals and even within the team. Had they disturbed something they shouldn't have? Was the spirit of Pharaoh Senebkay seeking vengeance for this intrusion into his eternal rest? The pattern felt unnervingly familiar, a chilling echo of the Carnarvon tragedy. Yet, as with the Tutankhamun case, official statements and rational explanations offered a different perspective. Authorities pointed to the inherent dangers of archaeological work and the simple, terrible randomness of life. Could a falling object in a museum be anything more than a tragic coincidence? Were the health issues a result of exposure to unknown environmental factors within the ancient tomb, or just a cluster of unrelated personal misfortunes? The story of the Polish pharaoh leaves us suspended between two worlds. One is a world of ancient warnings and supernatural retribution, a narrative that taps into our deepest fears. The other is a world of statistics, bad luck, and the real physical dangers that come with exploring sealed spaces from the distant past. Where does the truth lie? The answer may depend entirely on what you are prepared to believe. Far from the deserts of Egypt, another curse story unfolded in the frigid heights of Siberia. In 1993, on the remote Yukok Plateau, archaeologist Natalia Polismak made a discovery that would stun the world. Her team unearthed the body of a woman, frozen in the permafrost for 2,500 years. She became known as the Siberian Ice Maiden. The preservation was so perfect that the intricate blue tattoos of mythical animals on her skin were still vividly clear. She was dressed in fine clothing, including a tall headdress, surrounded by 6 sacrificed horses, suggesting she was a person of immense importance, perhaps a priestess or a shaman of the ancient Pazyryk culture. For science, it was an unprecedented window into a lost world, but for the local indigenous Altai people, the excavation was a profound desecration. They believed the Ice Maiden was a sacred ancestor, a guardian shaman whose spirit protected the mountain passes. To remove her from the earth, they warned, was to invite the wrath of the spirits. Soon after the mummy was taken to a museum in a distant city, a series of calamities struck the Altai region. The earth itself seemed to protest. A major earthquake rocked the area, followed by severe floods. For the Altai people, the connection was undeniable. The mountain spirits were angry. This was not a curse of individual misfortune, but a collective punishment for a spiritual transgression. This belief places science and cultural respect on a direct collision course. Is the pursuit of knowledge worth the cost of offending a living culture's deepest beliefs? the dilemma forces us to ask who truly owns the past. Does it belong to all of humanity to be studied in laboratories, or does it belong to the descendants of those who created it to be left in peace? The Siberian Ice Maiden story adds a powerful ethical dimension to the idea of a curse, transforming it from a personal supernatural threat into a broader question of responsibility and respect. From the global frenzy surrounding Tutankhamun to the quiet, ethical dilemma of the Siberian Ice Maiden, a clear pattern emerges. Each discovery, a moment of triumph, is swiftly followed by a shadow of misfortune, a narrative of a curse that feels almost inevitable. We are left staring into the heart of a great mystery, one that forces us to confront a fundamental question. Are these curses real? Is there a tangible, supernatural force that guards the resting places of the ancient dead, striking down those who intrude? Or are we witnessing nothing more than a tragic string of coincidences, a simple matter of bad luck amplified by our own deep-seated fears? Perhaps the most compelling explanation lies in the power of the human mind itself, a psychological suggestion so potent and a media machine so eager for a sensational story that they conspire to transform ordinary tragedy into an extraordinary legend. The truth may be as layered as the tombs themselves. We can acknowledge the chilling allure of the unknown, the part of us that wonders if some places are meant to stay sealed, while also celebrating the incredible courage of archaeologists. These explorers risk far more than collapsing tunnels or desert heat. They venture into the dark, knowing they may be bringing back more than artifacts. They risk awakening ancient fears and, in some cases, offending living cultures, all in their unyielding quest to piece together our shared human story. So what do you believe? Share your verdict in the comments below. Which archaeological curse story do you find the most convincing, and why? Or do you know of another mysterious tale of a discovery that seemed to carry a heavy price? Let us know, and if you are captivated by the shadows of history, subscribe for more deep dives into the world's greatest unsolved mysteries.